Right, hey guys, how are we doing? It has been a while, but we are back on another video from Too Spooky. I have recently been getting into One Piece, if you guys aren't aware, and I'm trying to check out more One Piece related stuff, and Too Spooky's got some interesting sounding videos. Now, I am quite stupid when it comes to things, and I miss quite a lot, and every time I do a reaction to a review for One Piece, I'll say something and it gets pointed out that I am wrong. So that's just why I'm going to educate myself with these explanation videos. And so I'm going to better understand after this, hopefully, how devil fruits work. So let's just get into it, shall we?
How is it going, everybody?
Too Spooky here, yeah, missed this.
When it comes to the One Piece universe, the thing I've always been most knowledgeable about has been the many different devil fruits and how they operate.
Sweet.
In fact, I'd even consider it my specialty. Because
Sick.
of that, I decided I'm going to be starting a series where we go over the different devil fruits individually, and really analyze what each fruit is capable of and how they work.
Class.
But before we can get to them individually, I figured it would be a good idea to go over devil fruits as a whole. Everything from the different categories and subcategories, weaknesses, and other information surrounding the fruits in general.
Cool.
This way everyone can be refreshed on the information and maybe even learn something that you didn't know before. So in today's video, we are going to be explaining devil fruits.
Cool. Origins and general information.
To begin, we're going to be quickly touching upon what little we know about the origins of devil fruits. As far as where devil fruits came from, we have yet to learn anything about their true origin. Aside from Shanks mentioning that devil fruits supposedly came from the sea devil.
Yeah.
In the beginning of One Piece, it was insinuated that devil fruits are very rare. So rare, in fact, that most people think of them as a myth until they see the devil fruit powers.
There's so many people with them, though.
This would, of course, drastically change later on when we are seeing new devil fruits left and right. But this shows us that the vast majority of devil fruits exist within the Grand Line and New World, rather than in the different blues.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Cool, cool.
There seems to be an endless amount of devil fruits at this point. We still see examples of people not knowing they exist even in the New World. For instance, Shirahoshi had no clue of their existence. The people in Wano believe that the powers received from them are merely sorcery.
I feel like I'm going to get spoilt on things here.
Didn't know of their existence either.
Amazon Lily didn't know.
Appearance-wise, the devil fruits come in many different shapes and
I haven't got up to the Wano arc yet, so
fruit. But the easiest way to tell them apart from normal fruit would be that they are generally a different color.
Yeah, they look like, you can tell when you look at it, can't you?
When eaten, these fruits apparently taste god-awful. But shortly after,
I thought it was cool that we see people like actually like eating it and
along with its name. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to consume the whole fruit to gain its abilities.
Oh,
instead,
so you can leave the skin.
One bite is required for the powers to transfer to the individual who took the bite. It's not possible for multiple people to each take a bite out of the fruit.
Right, I was just about to say, what?
Instead, after the first bite, the fruit just becomes a normal, horrible-tasting fruit.
Right.
In addition to that, it is possible for a devil fruit to exist more than once, but never at the same time. When a person eats a devil fruit and obtains its power, that power will not exist anywhere else in the world until the current user dies.
Until they're dead, right?
When they do eventually die, the devil fruit power will then be reborn into a new devil fruit of the same kind as before, where it can then be discovered by a different person and consumed, repeating the endless cycle. Because many of the devil fruits
I'm getting spoiled in a few things here.
past, a lot of them have been documented into a book called the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia. We don't know much about the book itself because it has only been shown or mentioned a small handful of
Blackbeard
times,
mentioned it, didn't he, when he was looking for his?
The vast majority of devil fruits and their abilities can be found within the pages. However, most of them do not have an illustration to accompany the ability, so it's hard to identify the fruit before eating it. We also don't know how common this book is throughout the One Piece world.
Well, Blackbeard did use it to identify the one that he ate, didn't he, to then do what he's doing.
This book is about as rare as finding a devil fruit itself.
Proof.
Before we move on, I should also mention that it's possible for inanimate objects to somehow consume a devil fruit and its abilities as well. The method was discovered by Vegapunk, but details of how this is possible
makes sense. Well, Vegapunk's had a few mentions in the background, hasn't he, with Frankie finding his laboratory and all that.
When it comes to classifying a devil fruit, its classification can fall under 3 different categories.
Okay, here we go.
Zoan, Logia, or Paramecium.
Paramecium.
Zoans are devil fruits that grant the user the ability to transform into some sort of animal
Right.
or creature. The
What's the
majority
zone
of
type?
zoans have 3 different transformations, which are the human form, which is the individual's original
The base.
form, the human beast form, which is where the user transforms into a mixture of both the original form
And
the
human.
fruit's
Right.
respective animal, and then the beast form, which is where the user completely transforms into their respective animal or creature.
Right, cool.
It is possible for other transformations to be achieved
Chopper.
through training or through outside sources.
But that's the same with
such
every
as
devil
Chopper
fruit, isn't it?
Rumble Ball. But the average Zoan user only has the 3 that we just listed.
Right.
The main strength of Zoan-type devil fruits is a significant physical strength boost, along with enhanced senses and any specific abilities granted from
To the
specific animal or creature.
Makes sense.
Zoans don't exactly have any specific weaknesses, but they are generally considered the weakest of the 3 categories.
Oh, right, okay.
Mainly because the majority of them rely on brute strength.
Right,
and their
okay, makes
strength
sense,
is
yeah.
determined specifically on the strength of the animal or creature the fruit is representing.
Makes sense
so
as well,
if
yeah.
you gained the strength of, let's say, a wiener dog, you wouldn't exactly be able to become a Yanko anytime in the near future.
Nibble the ankles.
Additional abilities are also achieved on a fruit-to-fruit basis, so a lot of them are specific to each individual user. But it's also possible to gain extra abilities depending on the animal in question. For instance, if the animal is some sort of bird, the user would also gain the additional ability to fly.
Yeah.
I should also mention that if an animal were to eat a Zoan fruit containing the abilities of the exact same species, it would give that animal absolutely no new abilities.
Oh.
But all the weaknesses
Bless.
of having a devil fruit power. So this
Uh-oh.
category also
So,
comes with a
no
small
swimming.
risk. Because a human Zoan devil fruit does exist, which was eaten by Chopper, so if a normal human person were to have eaten that fruit before Chopper came across it, they would have gained a grand total of 0 abilities, but all the normal devil fruit weaknesses.
Wow, okay, yeah,
Logia
cool.
are devil fruits that grant the user the ability to create, control, and transform into a specific element or force of nature.
Yeah, Logia
Depending
types,
on
right.
the element or force in question, the user is also granted numerous other abilities and techniques surrounding the existing properties of that element
The
or
element of the
force.
controlling, right.
Because Logia users are able to transform into their element, they become intangible in the process and can therefore easily avoid most attacks. Hockey attacks are the only way to truly hurt a Logia user,
Right.
aside from their natural weaknesses. But we'll touch upon those a little bit later. Not all Logia are able to become intangible though, however pretty much all of them can. Logia devil
Majority.
fruits are also considered the rarest of the 3 devil fruit categories.
Right, okay.
Finally, onto Paramecium.
Paramecium, what's this?
Paramecium devil fruits are a bit harder to outright explain or classify. But basically anything that is not already considered a Logia or Zoan is considered
Paramecium,
Paramecium by
right.
default. Most Paramecium devil fruits grant some sort of superhuman ability or power, such as body modification, changes to the surrounding environment, producing a substance, or some other transformations that are not considered Zoan. One thing I want to add before we move on to subcategories is that some of the Paramecium devil fruits are very, very similar to some of the Logia devil fruits.
I was gonna say, yeah, like, if they
which
can-
confuses quite a few people when
He's
it comes
able to
certain
manipulate his
fruits
body into stuff like
classifications.
that.
I actually made a whole video
Oh,
discussing
okay,
the
that'd be
difference
interesting
between
then.
Logia and Paramecium a little while back, and how to tell the difference between the two. I highly suggest you go give it a
will
watch
watch
after
that.
this video is over to better understand the difference and why certain fruits are classified the way they are.
Right, okay,
There
cool,
will be a
awesome.
link in the description.
That's
Otherwise,
gonna be
feel free to
handy,
give it
oh
a
my
watch
god.
now and come back to this video afterwards.
Subcategories.
To begin, I should mention we have yet to see any subcategories in the Logia category, so we'll move right to Paramecium.
Okay.
The only subcategory for Paramecium that we know of right now is known as a Special Paramecium. So far, we've only seen one devil fruit that actually falls under this subcategory,
Okay.
which is the Mochi Mochi no Mi. Now, we don't have an exact definition or explanation of what makes a Special Paramecium a Special
One?
Paramecium
Right,
in the
okay.
first place, but it should be known that this particular fruit was originally labeled as a Logia until its classification was changed in the volume release of the same chapter that it was named. From what I was able to deduce, a Special Paramecium has almost all the same characteristics as a Logia. The user can transform their body into their respective substance,
Okay.
and they can create and control the substance outside of their body. The only two differences from a Logia would be that the user is not actually intangible, and instead only appears to be, and the substance in question is not an element or force of nature. I talk a little bit more about special
I'm definitely going to be checking out this Logia versus Paramecium video.
My differences between Logia and Paramecium video that I mentioned before. So once again, feel free to check out that video for more potential information on this particular subcategory. Now, Zoans have by far the most subcategories, so we'll go through these one at a time.
Okay, cool.
The first we came across in the series is known as a Carnivorous Zoan.
Okay.
Now, Carnivorous Zoans aren't much different from a regular Zoan. But what sets them apart from the latter would be that carnivorous zoans are generally animals that are naturally more predatory by nature.
Yeah, okay,
which
makes sense in the
them
name.
more dangerous and powerful in different aspects of combat. These animals in particular also usually have different potential weapons, such as very sharp teeth or sharp
fangs.
Two examples of a carnivorous zoan would be the Inu Inu no Mi, model wolf, and the Neku Neku no Mi, model leopard.
Yeah.
Both of which are natural predators and bloodthirsty by nature. This bloodthirsty nature also generally
They're the guys from the
carries
CP9,
over to the
aren't they?
user themselves in battle, making them a force you don't want to mess with.
Oof.
The second Zoan subcategory is known as an Ancient Zoan.
Ancient Zoan?
Ancient Zoans are a much rarer Zoan type that allows the user to transform into extinct or prehistoric
Oh,
animals.
right, that's
We've
cool.
only seen two examples of these so far, which are the Zozo no Mi,
Cool.
model mammoth, and X Drake's unnamed Ancient Zoan that allows him to transform into some sort of
Dinosaur, yeah,
Naturally,
seen
as
that,
a
that's
huge
sick, cool.
mammoth and a dinosaur, Ancient Zoans are physically much bigger and stronger than your average Zoan.
Right, I like that.
Like carnivorous Zoans, the Ancient Zoans are also equipped
Well, it's
with
like a
natural
velociraptor,
weapons,
doesn't it?
like the huge tusks on the mammoth or very sharp claws and teeth on the dinosaur. At this given time, not much else is known about this category, other than the fact that the animals in question can cause significantly more damage than normal Zoans and
Right.
carnivorous Zoans.
Cool.
The third subcategory is known as a Mythical Zoan.
Mythical Zoan.
Mythical Zoans are a much rarer Zoan type. In fact, Mythical Zoans are considered the rarest type of devil fruit in the series.
In the whole thing.
Mythical Zoans allow the user to transform into what can only be described as creatures found in myths and legends. The only two examples we've seen so far is the Hito Hito no Mi,
The Buddha.
model Taibutsu, and Marco's unnamed Mythical Zoan, that allows him to transform into a phoenix.
Whoa.
What's most unique about this category is that in addition to gaining that strength boost that every Zoan receives, the Mythical Zoans also gain different abilities that make them seem like a Paramecium or even a Logia fruit as well. In fact, Marco's Phoenix fruit has characteristics of Zoan, Paramecium, and Logia all in one, making it what I believe is the most versatile devil fruit in the series.
Wasn't
to
he
date.
in,
We'll probably talk about these two
Whitebeard's
fruits in
crew at
separate videos
Marine
later on down the
Ford?
line.
Or am I wrong on
Regardless,
that?
Mythical Zoans are essentially
I just
legends
recognise some
brought to
manga only.
life.
I'm recognising
The final Zoan subcategory
that,
is
but
more
in
or
black and
less
white.
in a category of its own, which is the artificial Zoan.
artificial
Like we
Zoan.
said earlier, Vegapunk found a way for inanimate objects to
Yeah, the
consume
guy had the
devil
sword
fruit.
that turned into the
Well,
elephant,
in
didn't
addition to that, Vegapunk has also done numerous other experiments involving devil fruits, and in the process of all those experiments, he came up with a way to replicate a devil fruit. But apparently, it was rather flawed.
Oh.
Caesar Clown then did his own research and was able to replicate his own version of artificial devil fruits called Smiles, which
What?
are the artificial Zoans. These artificial Zoan fruits are flawed in their own way, but also grants the consumer Zoan-like abilities. The thing that puts artificial
what?
Zoans aside from the regular ones would be the fact that artificial Zoans only allow the user to partially transform into an animal rather
Not
than
the whole thing.
completely,
Right, so you
such
don't
as
get your
being
full
able
beast
to
mode.
only transform the user's hands into bear claws, rather than the rest of his body also transforming into a bear and things like that. Every consumer of an artificial Zoan also grows black horns for whatever reason. We
Interesting.
currently don't know if these artificial Zoans are subject to normal devil fruit weaknesses like a normal devil fruit, but we do know that they are said to come with unknown side effects due to the fact they are artificial.
Have risks, right? Weaknesses.
Now that we know all of the different categories, it's only natural to touch upon the weaknesses
Hell
that
yeah.
every devil fruit user is susceptible to. The main weakness
Water.
is essentially the sea
Yeah.
itself, because
Yeah,
once
not
an
just water,
individual
sorry, the sea,
consumes a devil fruit, they will no longer be able to swim or submerge themselves in water of any kind. If the devil fruit user were to attempt to swim, their body would become completely helpless in one way or another, such as sinking right to the bottom. Although it's very broad, there are a few different specifics surrounding this weakness, however.
Really?
For instance, the user will not be affected by moving water, and instead only water that is still. So water such as rain or waves will have no effect on the user.
Oh.
It's also possible for the user to submerge themselves underwater,
That's cool.
so long as their body is not touching the
it,
water.
right.
So if the user were to be wearing, let's say, scuba gear that covered their entire body,
they'd be alright.
it would be possible for them to
Right,
swim
okay, cool.
underwater without
I mean, they do
becoming
that anyway, don't
helpless
they? They
and
go,
drowning. The user
just
will
before
also be
Skypiea.
unaffected by very small bodies of water. This weakening effect only occurs once the user is knee-deep in water. So if the water barely covers their feet, for instance, they will remain completely
So they're alright in
unaffected.
puddles.
Once the user is in this weakened state, they will be completely unable to use their devil fruit abilities. However, if the user's body was permanently changed from the ability in question, it can still be manipulated by others, such as when Luffy was completely submerged underwater by Arlong, but other individuals were still
able to move him
stretch
around, get
his
him
neck
out,
above
right.
the water so that he could breathe. It should also be noted that fishmen have the ability to breathe underwater, so if a fishman were to eat a devil fruit, they would also lose their ability to swim. But if they fell in the water, they wouldn't drown, they'd just be sitting at the bottom of the sea, unable to move.
Right.
And consequently not dying instantly because they can still breathe just fine. If nobody came for them, they'd just, eventually starve.
Huh.
So either way, a devil fruit user's biggest weakness is the sea itself.
Yeah.
Especially since the majority of devil fruit users are pirates or marines
big deal.
that are sailing the seas. So a risk of falling in the sea and drowning is always lingering. The next big devil fruit weakness is a mineral, which is known as sea stone. This mineral apparently emits the same energy as the sea, and therefore whenever it is in
Yeah,
direct
Smoker was the
contact
first
with
example,
devil
wasn't he? He's
fruit
got it in the
user,
end of his
user
stick.
will fall under the same type of helplessness as if they were submerged under the sea itself. The only difference is that the amount of sea stone in contact with the user does make a difference. For instance, the Marines developed special sets of sea stone handcuffs.
Yeah,
that
so they
would
can't use their
weaken
abilities while they're
user
trapped.
nullify
And the
their
prisons as well.
abilities. But the user will still be able to walk along with other physical movements, so they aren't completely paralyzed as if they were under the sea. Being completely surrounded by sea stone
got that in that
will
prison as
also
well.
generally weaken the devil fruit user, even if they aren't directly touching it. The sea stone can also be formed into different weapons, such as a spear or even bullets. The bullets are technically not canon, but personally I feel like it could be possible, and I also feel this would be the most
So is
dangerous
it filler
example
stuff
of
then,
sea
that?
stone to date, as it could easily kill a devil fruit user of any kind. The other devil fruit weaknesses are a case-by-case basis, involving natural weakness and superiorities. Natural weaknesses are pretty straightforward. You see, a natural weakness to a different fruit is based on the makeup of the two abilities.
Yeah,
such
so
as
obviously, like,
fire being naturally
when he
weak
tried to use his
water,
lightning on
or snow
Luffy and it
being
just bounced
naturally
off 'cause he's
weak
made of
to
rubber.
heat.
Thought that was quite cool.
As far as how superiorities go, some devil fruits have abilities that are strikingly similar, like they're almost the exact same fruit. But either by nature or simply by the abilities, the devil fruit in question is superior to a different devil fruit, such as the Tun Tun no Mi being vastly superior to the Kilo Kilo no Mi. Both of them are essentially the same ability of weight manipulation, but the Tun Tun no Mi can become much, much heavier than the Kilo Kilo no
Oh,
Mi,
okay.
making it the superior of the two.
Well,
or as we saw with
'cause
the
is a
Magu Magu
ton
no Mi
heavier than
and
a
the Mera Mera no Mi.
kilo?
In the case of One Piece, magma is listed as a higher order than fire,
Yeah.
which is why Sakazuki was able to overpower Ace's fire
Bless.
abilities with his
R.I.P.
magma abilities. You could argue that fire is technically naturally stronger than magma, but in One Piece that just isn't the case, and
Not in
magma
their
is instead
world.
superior to fire. It should also be noted that armament haki is technically considered a devil fruit weakness, as this haki allows someone to bypass natural devil fruit defenses for a
Right.
head-on attack. But haki is a topic for another video, so I'm not going to go any further with it today.
Sweet. Awakening. Okay.
In some very rare cases, it's possible for devil fruit users to awaken their devil fruit.
Really?
Which further increases the abilities of the user in some way. And from what we've seen, this increase is fairly drastic. I'll definitely touch upon awakening more in a future video.
Because I mean, I've seen that they can actually work upon their devil fruits, and everyone at the moment is like other cool stuff going on now in the Straw Hat crew.
Their devil fruit in the first place. From what we've seen with Paramecium, both current examples of awakening were able to change the surrounding environment into the substance that they can produce from their own bodies, and further manipulate the transformed environment, making their abilities seem much more like a Logia in comparison. And when it comes to Zoans, the awakened Zoan user appears to transform into a gigantic version of their respective animal, gaining even more strength, but at the cost of seemingly appearing less human and more animal by nature, and also seeming less intelligent. At this point in time, we have yet to see what an awakened Logia Devil Fruit user could possibly be capable of doing, but I can imagine it'll be pretty catastrophic.
Yeah. Here we are, more than one devil fruit. Here we go.
You may be wondering why people don't try to get their hands on multiple devil fruits to further increase their strength.
Because you can only eat one at a time, can't you?
From what we've learned from Blue Nose's statement to Jabra, Grand Line scientists have experimented with the effects of eating two devil fruits.
Eating the second one would hurt you, wouldn't it?
And doing so results in the individual's body destroying itself from the inside, to the point where their own body will explode without a trace. Rob Lucci even commented that it's enough of a risk to eat just one devil fruit, and eating two is just asking for death. This rumor, or perhaps this evidence, has spread throughout the One Piece world, which is why no one that we know of has attempted to eat more than one fruit. That being said, somehow Blackbeard was able to consume two devil fruits and harness both respective abilities,
which is sick, and like, what's going on?
Exploding. We currently don't know how this is possible. If it has something to do with
oh wow, so even up to that point where they're at, they don't know how he did it. Cool.
Entirely. Or maybe the research about two devil fruits causing you to explode just isn't true. Either way, Blackbeard seems to be the only exception to this rule thus far, and it's currently unknown if he's able to eat even more than two. But on that note, that's pretty much everything you'll need to know about the general information of devil fruits. Obviously, there's some information that I left out, but it's a bit hard to touch upon everything in just one video. So if you guys learned something new, or you just gained a better understanding of devil fruits as a whole,
that was class,
well,
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And like I said earlier, be sure to comment which individual devil fruits you would like to learn about next, since we're going to be covering a lot of them individually in a new series. If you can't get enough One Piece content, well, be sure to click here for the difference between Logia and Paramecium.
I do want to check that Logia Paramecium differences video out.
Otherwise, click here for the top 10 wasted devil fruits.
I do want to go through all the top 10 videos that he's done as well.
5 facts about the zombies from Thriller Bark. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
That was class. I feel like I was edumacated. Very edumacated. That's cool. You see, it's like, it's all been explained, but it's like, I miss these things. There were a couple of spoilers in that video. Jesus friggin' Christ. But hey ho. Surprised I haven't seen any of that stuff already, so I'm not going to say what it was that I missed out on, but I'm just going to say I've only just left Fishman Island, so some of that stuff was like, oh my god. Awesome. Thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all you have to help support the channel. Greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you watch us in future videos. I'll see you guys next time.